So today we have not an unboxing, a flip through of the Tarot of Vampires. So I said this in another video, but I decided that I'm going to use these decks a little bit before I do a flip through, just so that I have like a better understanding of the deck and the problems, if there are any, that may arise from them. So this deck is something that I'm going to use around Halloween time. So I've used it a little bit, but I haven't used it too much because I'm waiting for that Halloween time. I like to have kind of like seasonal decks to use. So yeah. So let's get into it. This has a nice box, big box. It's a magnetic closure, and it has a really, I didn't have the little ribbon. This has a really big guidebook. Like, it's like a book. There are some spreads in the back of here that are kind of unique that I may use. I haven't read this book yet, but I think I am going to read it cover to cover eventually. I have a few books that I need to read, but I am going to read this. It's very interesting. It has the Tree of Life in here, right here. So it really goes into some things. It talks about the paths on the Tree of Life, and so you can really like learn some things from this book. It does go into astrology a little bit. Let's see. Somewhere in here it goes through astrology. So yeah, I think that this is definitely a worthwhile deck to get because of the book. What makes it different is the book. So I love that, and we'll set it to the side here. I'll set it over here. So, and the cards, have a very beautiful back. I love this rose. It's not necessarily going to be reversible. And I do read reversals, but like, honestly, I never get caught up on whether or not the backs are reversible. I guess maybe some people lay their cards down like this way and then kind of reveal them. I don't really, I mean, I guess I would do that for pick a card readings, but just in a regular reading, I just lay the cards out. So, and it does have different names for the suits, and we'll go through that as I go through the deck. But, yeah, so I like this deck. I like the card stock. You know, it's easy to shuffle. It didn't come warped or anything like that. I don't think it's going to get warped. And it's kind of dark, but that's the theme of the deck. And like the little titles here are, it's easy to read for me, because it has like the white against the darker background, like a darker gray background. So I like that. And let's just get into it. So this deck, Tarot of the Vampires, you know what, before we get into it, if you could like my video, share my video if you enjoy this, and subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate that. Just go through the deck. This Fool card, let's see. I'm looking to see if I can pick anything out of it. I think that this deck is kind of, this is the Magician. It's kind of like just like visually appealing. But this card does have like the they call these, the wands are called scepters. And then they have knives, grails, and skulls. So there's a knife in the skull here. He's holding his grail. He's holding his scepter. And I guess the position of his hands are kind of, he's not totally doing the as above, so below stance, but he's kind of positioned in that way. And then we have the Priestess. And I always really loved vampires. Vampires and zombies are kind of in that same category for me. I like vampires better than zombies. I know there's a zombie deck. I probably won't be getting the zombie deck. I like vampires better. We have the Empress. And I like, you know what I like about the different decks? So I like using different decks because like some decks would have, the Priestess would be pregnant because she symbolizes abundance and stuff like that. But then some don't. So I feel like that gives like special meaning to the readings, depending on the decks you're using. Like, you know, I say like, what deck am I kind of guided towards using for this person's reading? And sometimes I'll have a card that has like a pregnant person in it. And I'll be like, oh, you know, a lot of cards don't have a pregnant person in it. So I wonder if that's significant, you know? And I'll usually point that out in the reading. So because a lot of the Empress cards do have like a pregnant Empress, I find her not being pregnant to be significant. You know what's interesting about this Hierophant? He looks like he's been sitting there for like ages upon ages upon ages. Like there's spider webs and stuff on him. So to me, it's interesting because like the Hierophant symbolizes tradition and maybe higher authority, stuff like that. And there's cobwebs all over him. So it's kind of like, I'm just picking up that like in a reading, if I was doing this in a reading, like maybe the higher authority or the traditions that that person is following are a little archaic in terms of their journey. Like maybe they shouldn't do things just because they feel like this is the societal norm or this is, you know, whatever. So we have the Lovers. We have the Chariot. We have Justice with her scales. We have the Hermit. I love that he's like got that dog that looks like so fierce. It's like he's kind of like doing his own thing and grabbing skulls as he goes and stuff like that. But he's got his guard dog protecting him along the way. Because when we go inside and do that like that hermit mode thing, it's nice to feel like we have protection. Like I got 2 dogs when I really like kind of began my journey of going into hermit mode. I got 2 dogs and it wasn't totally purposeful. It was just how things shook out. But they definitely make me feel protected and, you know, they make me feel like I have companionship, you know. So we have the Wheel of Fortune here, and I like the different colored roses because it really reminds me of like chakra. It's giving me chakra vibes. And we have the Strength card. We have the Hanged Man. This, you know, it is like interesting to me is that most Hangman cards, he's kind of just hanging there. He's not like really bothered, you know. This Hangman looks pretty bothered. Like his blood is being drained. He's being hung upside down. So again, if this card were to come up in a reading, it would give me different vibes than the traditional Hangman. You know, maybe it's really uncomfortable for this person to be hanging upside down. Maybe it feels blood draining to really try to see things from different perspectives, because that is easier for some people than others, you know. And we have the Death card. And I like that there's like so much like brightness in this card, because the Death card is actually, I think it's a very spiritual card. There's this very spiritual meaning to the card, because it's really about rebirth, right? The ending of one cycle so that we can begin another cycle. So there's a spiritual aspect to it that I think through the colors in this card really kind of shines through. Temperance. The Devil. And again, I like how they're kind of like latching on to the Devil. It's like they're choosing to hang on to the Devil. They have wings to fly away if they wanted to, and they're not. Like they're choosing to hang on to him. The Tower. We have the Star. It's like she's pulling out. So, okay, she's got cups, which in the tarot kind of symbolizes emotion. And so she's pouring out the emotion. She's like, she's pouring out the emotion, and like the person in the background, it's like we always have our guides with us. There's like always, we're never alone. And so through this healing process, it's like she's taking on that emotion. And there's a lot of red in here, so it's very root chakra. The Moon. Every minor arcana ace has a different colored rose. So this is the Ace of Scepters. The Two of Scepters. Five of Scepters. She's either inviting the transformation or sitting there like feeling like with a circle of protection around her. Six of Scepters. Page of Scepters. Now he looks like a vampire straight up. She looks like a vampire too. Some of them looked a little fleshy. Queen of Scepters. Lord of Scepters. Ace of Grails. Two of Grails. And this is very, with the green, it's very heart chakra, which, you know, because it's really like cups. It's a suit of cups, which is all about like kind of emotion. And so I really like that heart chakra kind of vibe going on. 3 of Grails, 4 of Grails, Queen of Grails, Lord of Grails. Okay, we have Knives, giving me very sacral chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus chakra vibes. Ace of Knives, 2 of Knives, 3 of Knives, you know, I kind of stopped because I was looking at the scenery and thinking about what the 3 of Swords is about. It's like acute pain, something. It's like through the pain, like, because this is very brightly colored, and every time I look at like bright white color, it makes me think of the crown chakra. And it's like through the pain that we feel, we elevate, we grow. See how they like look dead? And the other, in the Scepters suit, they looked more fleshy, more like their skin was a little bit more alive. 10 of Knives, Daughter of Knives, Prince of Knives, Queen of Knives. And I like how he's kind of like yelling, because the Knight of Swords, which is what this card is, he's like a messenger. So he's like screaming. It's and that's how it is sometimes, like when the spirit world is trying to get a message through to us, and maybe we're not receiving that message, or maybe we have some kind of block where we're not hearing it. We could be hearing it and just being like, yeah, it's not really what I want to do. You know what I mean? It's like he's screaming, hello, I said. Queen of Knives and Lord of Knives. Okay, we have Ace of Skulls. This is a pentacle suit. I cannot keep the cards together. Ace of Skulls, 2 of Skulls, 3 of Skulls. These, well, like these ladies look more fleshy. This one does not. 4 of Skulls, 5 of Skulls, 6 of Skulls. I kind of like in the, because we're talking about pentacles here. This is stuff in the manifested into the real world. I kind of like when it has more of a like lively look to it, even though it's a vampire deck. Because there's definitely, like, let's just say vampires existed. There's definitely like a more human world and a more not human world that like vampires would inhabit. So it makes sense in the Suit of Pentacles to have more, to show more life. 6 of Skulls, Prince of Skulls, Queen of Skulls, and Lord of Skulls. Okay, that is the whole vampire deck. The Tarot of Vampires. I cannot wait for Halloween. I love Halloween. And I have a few decks that I'm going to use around Halloween time. I don't edge my decks or anything like that, but this will be, if you do, this will be a great deck to edge. Personally, I would edge it like in a red, or, you know, this will be really cool if it came in a red gilding. But this is just a, like, let's see, who created this deck? Let me look. Let me put this, set this aside. Look at the box again. This is a Llewellyn. So it's very mainstream deck. I'm trying to think of the world mass market deck. Cheapy deck. Although the guidebook is awesome. I don't think that I don't think the cards are cheapy. I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't say that they're like bad quality or anything like that. I actually can't wait to read this book. So, let me see. Talks about symbolism. This is definitely not a guidebook that you're just going to go to like, oh wait, what does that card mean? This is not a beginner deck. It's not a beginner deck because, number one, some of the names of the suits have been changed, so you kind of have to really know your tarot to be able to read from this deck. Also, it's not, you can't just go to the guidebook and be like, wait, what does that card mean? Because you're not going to get that from this guidebook. This guidebook is really, really in depth. And it dives into the symbolism and everything. It would probably be, oh, here's some tarot stuff, or some astrology stuff on here, which I'm currently studying that. So it's helpful to, like, I do eventually want to know all of the associations. So this book is like great for that. This book is great for me because there's a lot of stuff that I want to learn still. Here's some spreads and exercises. And maybe after reading this book, I may do like another, not another total flip through, but I may do another kind of feature on this deck, because I'm sure there's a lot of information in this deck, or in this guidebook, that is, that would be great to talk about in a video. There's a lot of like Kabbalah and all that stuff is something that, using Kabbalah and tarot. Yeah, this is definitely like information that I am really intrigued about and understanding and everything. So this is, if you're kind of studying tarot and trying to learn you like study your associations, learn more about the Kabbalah, this little book has like all of that in the book, just from flipping through it. I haven't read it, but I will read it, and I'm intrigued to read it. So this is definitely a worthwhile deck to get. I had watched it, a flip through on this deck, and actually I think it's what made me purchase it, because well, I do like vampires, and I was looking for more Halloween-y type decks, and so so yeah. But the flip through I watched, she talked about the guidebook too, and she was like, this is such a worthwhile deck to get just for the guidebook, because the deck itself is not, I wouldn't say that it's like spectacular, you know, more than other decks. Like it's good. I don't think it's any worse than any other decks. There's nothing about the deck, the cards, that I would point out and say, yeah, I wish this was, you know, like this is really bothering me, or this deck is hard to work with. I don't think that there's anything like that about it. I do think that, like I said, some of the illustrations seem to be more thought out than others. So this was created by Ian Daniels, by the way. So yeah, like I really like this deck. I would probably, if I was rating this deck, I'd give it like I'd probably give this deck like a B, because I really like, because the guidebook is like fabulous. You know, so if you were to buy this deck just for the guidebook, I think it seems really worth it. Even though I haven't read the guidebook yet, the guidebook, just from flipping through it, it's definitely stuff that like I have in my queue to study. So I'm really glad I bought this deck just to have the guidebook. I mean, it's definitely not a, I probably at some point, honestly, am going to get rid of my boxes. So, you know, the Llewellyn boxes are large. They're very nice. They're very nice boxes. I wouldn't say that the, like this part of it, hold on, let me see. This part of it is like, you know, it's all right. I don't know. I think the box is not like anything like super special. They probably know that most people throw the box away anyway. But it is nice. If you're going to keep the box, the magnetic closure and stuff is nice. I don't know, but I feel like this deck is like a throw the box away, put the cards in a tarot bag. I'd probably get a special one. And put the book on a shelf, because it's really like a readable book. So that's all I have for you today, Tarot of the Vampires. I hope this helped you. Do you have this deck? Tell me what you think about the deck. Are you interested in purchasing this deck? And did this video help you decide whether or not you want to purchase this deck? I would love to know in the comments below. And like I said, please like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel. And until next time, bye.